Welcome to the Launch Buddies Disability Self-Advocates, voices from high school and beyond. I'm your host, Barbara Beck, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Darien and Andrew. We're thrilled to have you here with us today for a very special episode titled My Story, Launching from High School to Adulthood.
That's right, Barb. In this episode, we'll be diving deep into the personal journeys and experiences of our incredible Launch Buddies media class members. We'll be hearing stories from their time in high school special education programs to their present lives as adults with disabilities.
It's truly an honor to be part of this discussion. Each story we share today is a testament to the resilience, strength, and determination of these remarkable individuals. We hope their stories inspire and empower our listeners.
Absolutely, Andrew. Our goal with this episode is to shed light on the challenges and triumphs of our Launch Buddies as they face difficulties and differences on their path to adulthood. We want to celebrate their achievements, share their wisdom, and foster a greater understanding of the unique experiences of self-advocates.
Throughout this episode, we'll be hearing firsthand accounts of navigating education, pursuing dreams, overcoming obstacles, and finding success in various aspects of life. It's an opportunity for our Launch Buddies to reflect on their personal growth and share valuable insights with all of you.
So get ready to be inspired, moved, and enlightened as we embark on this journey of self-discovery and celebration. Together, we'll uplift and amplify the voices of our Launch Buddies because every story deserves to be heard.
Thank you for joining us on this meaningful episode of the Launch Buddies Disability Self-Advocates, voices from high school and beyond. Let's dive in and let their stories ignite our hearts and minds.
Welcome to this episode. We're talking about your stories, and I am really interested to know about last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. Darien, you were telling me that you experienced high school special education classes in a pretty positive way. Do you want to kind of highlight a little bit for our listeners about what your whole experience was like in high school? I would love to hear the positives and also the challenges.
Absolutely, Barb. In high school, I remember the teachers were very supportive. They worked at my level. I could be myself when I was in the classroom.
That's amazing.
And they helped me to understand things that I didn't know or wasn't able to comprehend at the time. They really worked things together for me to be able to learn and to be able to get good grades and to be able to work efficiently.
Right. And I think special education teachers especially are really aware of how to scaffold up the supports that are needed, right? Maybe you have a class that's in chemistry. Maybe you have a class that's in the general ed setting in math. Oh my goodness, math was really hard for me. I don't know if it was hard for you guys.
Math and English were my favorite subjects. I will say that for
Math
sure.
and English. I am an English person. And Andrew, would you say you're more of an English person or a math person?
I have a math learning disability, so English.
So yes, English is kind of a strength for you. And in your math classes, what were some of the things that your teachers created for you or helped you with to make progress toward, the goals that you had for yourself, your IEP goals, but also just the general ed classes and the curriculum pathway that you needed to take? Can you talk about that?
It was one-on-one, and I had less homework than most people so I could get my work done.
That's so nice. You got to do it with the support provider right there.
Yeah.
You had a paraeducator with you?
It was a school that had one-on-one instruction.
That's nice. Sometimes I know that people, if they have one-on-one support, they might feel a little too called out or too exposed as far as their disability, because you have somebody shadowing you around there all the time. If it's a good fit, it's a good fit. If it's not a good fit, that can be a real struggle. So being able to advocate for yourself is really huge. But you had a good matchup, it sounds like, with the person that was supporting you.
Yeah.
That's great. So Darien, you were talking about a story where your peers experienced you in a way that was, different. And they experienced you in an off-putting way. And you term it Snobsville.
That is right.
You want to talk about Snobsville?
Snobsville.
Yeah.
It's where, the atmosphere of walking around like you're, better than certain people. And you give them the cold shoulder, the stink eye, the ice queen. It's just cold and it's arrogant.
And that's kind of a story that you experienced. I know you told me about in high school, your teacher told you that some of your peers felt uncomfortable around you.
Yes.
Is that where Snobsville came from? Kind of started for you?
Yeah. Junior high.
Junior high. Tell about junior high, what that was like from, I think it was a special education teacher that told you that, or?
Yep.
Okay. What was the scenario?
Just being different in general. Like it just made people feel, I don't know. I dealt with stuff, and we all do. But the thing is, they looked at, and the way Snobsville looks at it, if this person's not the norm, then, he's not welcome here.
Wow.
And that's exactly what they showed me. They didn't have to say it. They showed it to me.
Just by the way they behaved around you?
They left. They talked amongst themselves like I wasn't even in the room.
What was it like for you when you went home from a school experience and you had that with your peers? There's a silent bullying too, I think, that happens. Whether people say things or just the way they behave or they position themselves or they walk away or...
Oh, I still deal with that now. I've dealt with it for a very long time, and I just want to bring it to a close because it is highly unnecessary.
When you're in your private space, like you go home and you're just kind of reflecting on your day, what do you think about? What do you feel? And how do you kind of sort through those feelings?
Well, at the end of the day, I feel exhausted. I feel torn down, and I feel... I just like to, take time to regroup.
And isn't it important about the people you bring around you? Your family is very supportive.
They are.
You have friends who are very supportive. You have coworkers who are very supportive and encouraging. When you think about your high school experience, can you think of positive words that were said to you, things that you were encouraged by, and how did that make a difference for you? Can you think of any situation where you were really lifted up, you were really supported and encouraged? Andrew, how about you?
Well, I had a teacher, and we both raised a tarantula, a baby tarantula that I named Peter Parker.
I love that name.
And I was
a Spider-Man fan. Okay.
And then I got to hold the snakes, and I got to dissect a snake in science class, and then I got to hold some tarantulas, which I was the only person who liked holding them. Tell
me about that teacher and how supportive they were.
I don't want to say her name,
okay,
but she was very nice. She encouraged my interest in like animals, like holding the tarantulas and the snakes, and she thought that was cool.
And I think for a teacher, from her perspective, she must have seen those strengths in you, those interest areas, and given you extra opportunities to do those things. Not that I would want to dissect a snake. That is not the last thing I would want to do. But you have interest in that, in those kind of science type of activities, and exploring different interesting insects or reptiles or whatever in those spaces. And I love that teacher saw that strength in you and that interest area and built you up and gave you those opportunities. What can you, Darien, describe one of your teachers who was really inspiring or gave you really positive words of encouragement? Can you think of one person that you can highlight? And you don't have to say their name, or you can, either way.
I will eventually get to their name, but this teacher, she understood me at a level that I don't know, that no one else ever could. She knew when the stress was getting up for me. She knew she knew how to check me when I was getting anxious.
Right.
And she knew how I worked, how I functioned, but she also let me know about how there's a difference between friends and acquaintances.
Yes.
And though I was trying to fit in, I mostly had acquaintances, and the more I tried to, connect with them, it's like, if they're not connecting with you, they're not friends, they're acquaintances.
Right. And understanding those closer circles when you have people around you who are supportive. You can think of those rings. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but there's a ring, you have a lot of people who are acquaintances in the larger circle around, right? But as you get closer, like your family or your closest friends who know you the best, your teacher helping you to understand what is an acquaintance and what do I expect from an acquaintance and what is a close friend and what does that look like and feel like in friendship, right? How do I develop those relationships? How do I maintain them? Those are all really important skills. We talk a lot in education about social emotional learning, or SEL. And really, I was thinking about that this morning, about how teachers need to be taught about SEL. And I think, regardless of the acronyms you place on it, it really is about seeing what you need, who you are, knowing how to connect with you, and knowing how to help you connect with others.
And that's exactly what she did. And she was amazing for that. And if I can mention her name,
Go ahead.
I just want to let her know, Miss Dugan. She was amazing.
Yeah.
She was amazing. And I got to say her name because she was one of those teachers that really brought inspiration to me, and she really helped me in many ways.
I actually know that teacher. She is wonderful.
She's so great.
Yeah.
She's great.
And so a little shout out to Miss Dugan. Thank you for being such an amazing teacher, for being so dedicated and spending time to really get to know your students, to build them up. And I know there are so many teachers out there who hopefully are listening to our podcast and knowing that every moment that you spend to get to know your students and to know what helps them to feel connected and supported, whether that's just, how they learn or how they socialize with others. All of those efforts to get to know students, to make them feel welcomed and accepted, and that they have a space to be in, that's huge.
Exactly. And I just want to thank her for that. She's amazing, and she always will be.
Very cool. So, Andrew, you have a script that you wrote, and it's about your personal experience and your story in high school. Do you want to share a little bit about the script that you wrote that you're going to be using to shoot your video today?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I wrote on the script about how in high school I was never really accepted by people. I was always ignored. It wasn't rude,
Okay.
but it was just a passive aggressive, I don't want to talk to you, get away from me vibe that I got all throughout school.
Wow. Is there somebody or something that helped you in that situation? Is there a teacher that you could highlight a little bit, just as far as how you felt?
In middle school, there was a teacher who was strict but very patient with me.
Okay.
And he was a cool teacher. And then in high school, I had the teacher that had the tarantula.
Okay. When you say strict, I think sometimes people will mistaken that they were kind of a punishing kind of a teacher. Is that what you mean? Or did they have very clear expectations and kind of push you? Is that more what you're thinking?
Usually when I'm talking with, when strict teachers are I never got along with them.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah.
But this one was not mean strict, but just had expectations for other people that were against bullying and stuff.
That's interesting to hear you say that. Is there anything else that you want to say about your experience in middle school or high school? We have a couple of buddies coming into our recording, so we're going to talk to them in just a little bit. Do you want to close up what you were saying?
Yeah. I had good teachers. Those two teachers were really good, and
that's awesome to hear about really inspiring and great teachers in both of your lives. We have Koa and Sam who just entered into our studio. We're going to take a bit of a break. We're going to let our listeners hear about SDES to thank them and to highlight them for their willingness to give us a space here to record our podcast. And we'll be right back, and we'll get a chance to talk to Koa and Sam when we return. Enjoying the Launch Buddies podcast? We're all about celebrating the voices of self-advocates who bravely break down barriers. Speaking of brave advocacy, let's take a moment to recognize our sponsor, SDES Functional Academics. SDES offers a comprehensive curriculum, training, and consultation for students with disabilities. Their Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics has been refined with input from educators and families, achieving great success in classrooms nationwide. As Launch Buddies, we understand the challenges of finding the right education. With SDES by your side, you'll feel confident and empowered to provide an exceptional education for every child in your program. Visit sdesworks.com to learn more about the Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics and make a real difference in your teaching. Thank you, SDES, for your commitment to inclusivity and accessibility. Now let's dive back into our conversation that's so captivating with our amazing Launch Buddies. Well, listeners, we have Koa and Sam with us, and I wanted a chance for them to talk about their experiences in high school. I know Sam has a real deep personal interest in movies, and you like to watch movies kind of on your own time. Yes.
Can I tell you about ATI?
You can definitely tell me about ATI.
So in ATI, we had a rule enforced that before we played on our phones and watched videos, we had to socialize with our friends. And if we just did that all the time, we'd miss out on all the conversations.
That's right. So you want to be available to the other people around you. And so one of the things that I know for your ATI program or the other kind of programs that I've been in high school, special education classes and things, we want to learn how to be really connected and find friends, to socialize and to be, appropriate in how we communicate and interact with others, right? And one of the things I think, Sam, you were talking about is how your teacher put out an expectation that, even though, yes, you're interested in having a movie and watching a movie and being interested in your phone, that it's really important sometimes to put your phone away and to be available to talk to other people, correct?
Yes, and then I was told after I was done having conversations with people, I could watch all my Emmerdale I wanted at lunch. But first, I had to do that.
Right. First, socialize, then do something personal to kind of just regroup and kind of like your artwork too.
And lighten the mood.
When you're in the mood? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm just saying lighten the mood. I'm just
lightening the mood. Yes, absolutely. So I think having an opportunity to regulate yourself to be able to get away from sometimes social situations are very difficult, right? Yep. They take a lot of energy and a lot of focus and attention on what are people saying? How do I respond? How do I interact? And Sam was talking about body language. What's your body doing in the connection with other people? Are you available or are you shut down and just centered on your phone? Yep. Right? So those are the things you've been learning. And is that a positive experience for you?
And I was told after I graduate from AT, I could do it all I want.
That's right. This summer, you're going to have a lot of time to have a break and really focus on the things that are interesting to you and fun just by yourself.
Yep.
But you also have a lot of opportunities to get along with others and to learn about new people and to socialize.
Oh, sometimes at Rand's Drive-In, I have a boundary that sometimes when I play my games, I just turn it off and then go back after I'm done socializing.
So you're learning a lot about those boundaries, and I love that you're willing to learn them. Good job, Sam.
Yep. Sometimes I text my aunt to check on her after.
Oh, okay. And you have something you were telling us the other day is you have a list of people that you like to text.
In alphabetical order.
Right. And only once a week. I know that I'm part of that list. And what I really appreciate about you, Sam, and that's something that you learned in school, I think. Yeah. Also, your parents help you out a lot with that, is you never want to be, texting people too much, right? Because otherwise then you kind of hurt the relationship. And so you have a tool, a skill, and a strategy that you do that helps you out with that.
Yeah, so sometimes I do text you and send you pictures.
I love that you do that. And I know every Sunday around 9:00, I can expect a text from Sam. And sometimes it has pictures and I can know what he's doing and the things that you're involved with. Yep. I love it.
And sometimes my boundary is I don't text my doctor unless I have a doctor's appointment or the dentist.
Oh, correct. Yes. And some of those things you keep privately to yourself, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Koa, let's switch to you. Let's change gears and talk to Koa about some of the things that were really positive for you. Was there a situation that you wanted to talk about? I know you have a few things written on your script, on your paper in front of you. Do you want to talk about some of your positive experiences in high school special education, or something that you want to talk about just in general about high school?
I just think like walking into like writable desk and open glass walls,
Mm-hmm.
new carpet, new hallways, and everything. It was just so awesome.
Right. You had a brand new high school that you got to experience, that the walls opened up to help you connect with other classes. There were writable surfaces. You could take pens and write on the desks, write on the cabinets. And that was really cool. You had collaborative spaces where you could get along with other people. Yeah?
Yeah, we had cloud cubes. It was great. That was a great high school.
Koa, I know that you have a couple of teachers who were very supportive of you. And do you want to talk about why you enjoyed having those special education teachers?
I think they're just really nice and just really supportive.
They, some of the things you were telling me, you're right. They sound very supportive and fun.
They were smiling though and happy.
They were always happy to see you and provided experiences that were really engaging and fun. What's one thing that one of your teachers did to kind of make your classroom a fun space? You said something about a guitar.
Yeah, Miss Lorenz played the guitar.
Oh, whoa. She brought a guitar in and...
Yeah, like in the hallway of the building too, And
that is really, really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's something else? Were you on any sports teams or clubs that you were a part of?
So I did badminton, unified bowling, and I did track and field, cross country.
Wow.
You name it.
Wow. So you were pretty involved with your extracurricular activities. What is unified sports? What's one of the sports
They're
that you
like
played?
Special Olympic sports.
I get it. Okay. So Special Olympics. So the athletes some had disabilities and some didn't have disabilities, and they came together, and that was a unified sports experience for you. What sport were you guys playing?
Bowling.
You had bowling, and you also had one more, I think.
Swim.
Okay. Soccer. How about soccer? Did you participate with soccer?
No, I didn't do.
I know they had a unified soccer team. Really great experiences. If our listeners haven't participated or known about unified sports, Special Olympics is really amazing, but having those opportunities. Bryce, did you have any opportunities like that in sports that you did?
Yes.
Which ones did you do?
Soccer.
All right. You were on the soccer team. Was that the unified sports team?
Yes.
Okay. Who was your coach?
Mr. Zahaiko.
Oh my. Okay. So Mr. Zahaiko has a little bit of a reputation, a really good reputation in our community. Can you tell about why he's a really good coach?
He's just friendly.
Friendly and supportive as well. Yeah. What position did you play?
All around.
Okay. Did you make friends on your team?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. All right. And do you have those friendships? Do you spend time with them now?
Yes.
Bryce, you have graduation coming up. What's that going to be like?
Nerve-wracking.
Why? Why do you feel nervous about it?
Yeah, 'cause I don't want to move on.
Oh, okay. So making that transition from school that's so familiar to something else next year is kind of nerve-wracking. I can see where that would be. Do you want to talk about how you're working through that, or just what you expect to happen during graduation or after?
I don't have anything to put on.
Do you have a graduation cap and gown to put on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you ordered that. That's been here. Did you get your senior pictures taken?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What is one positive thing? What's one thing that you'll really miss from the school that you're in, that you go to?
The teachers.
The teachers. Are they really nice people?
Yeah, just extra nice.
I love that. So I'm glad you have nice teachers, and it sounds like they're very supportive as well.
I had nice teachers too.
Do you want to say anything more about your teachers for the listeners?
I just remember taking, I took like Mr. Olson for retail operations. I decided to take Mr. Kellogg for Intro to Law and Justice.
Wow. So was that a difficult class, Intro to Law and Justice?
No,
why was it a little easier for you?
Because my paraeducator was in there too with me. So
when the para was with you going through those lessons and things like that, what did the para do for you?
She helped me figure out what I need to do to get this work done.
Did she help you with reading the material or organizing the assignments?
Organizing the assignments, I think.
That's great. So one of the things that I know para-educators do is to support you with the IEP goals and the accommodations that you have in there, and to help the teacher know kind of what kind of learner you are. And so it sounds like your para did a great job with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Anything more you want to say to our listeners about your experience in high school?
No.
All right. Well, we're really appreciative of Sam and Koa and Bryce for joining us today. And Andrew and Darien, I wanted to find out from you, is there anything that you would want to say to encourage people who are in high school special education programs, other high school students who are there, to encourage them in their journey? What would you say?
I would say be your authentic self, be real, put yourself out there. Get involved. You are still a human being. You're still a person. Everybody deals with stuff. So do not feel like because you special needs or you have mental illness that you don't fit in or that you don't belong.
There's a place for you, yeah.
There is always a place for you.
Great.
There's a place for everyone, no matter what you look like, no matter where you came from.
Excellent. Thank you, Darien. And Andrew, is there anything that you would say to a listener that's in high school right now?
Yeah, I would just say try to do the stuff you like.
Okay. Join clubs?
Join clubs. Try to get IEPs and get more accommodations if you need them.
That's right. One of the things I absolutely love, I don't know if you guys did this in high school, but when students lead their own IEP meetings, it's so powerful to hear from them. It's their education, right? It's their goals they're working towards and their accommodations that they need. So they should be, as much as absolutely possible, people should use their voice to say what they want and need in their own educational process, right?
I
so
agree.
Lead your own IEP meetings, and teachers, help your students do that. All right. Well, thank you, Darien. Thank you, Andrew, for being with us. And that's it for today until our next episode. And that concludes our heartfelt discussion of our personal stories of high school special education and graduating into adulthood. It's been an incredible journey sharing our experiences and reflecting on the challenges and triumphs our buddies have faced along the way.
I really agree, Barb. We hope that our stories have provided inspiration, encouragement, and a sense of connection to our listeners who may be going through similar transitions toward independent living in their own lives.
Each of us has demonstrated inspiring determination and strength navigating the complexities of high school special education and emerging as empowered individuals ready to take on the world.
Well said, Andrew. As you all move forward into adulthood, let's remember that words matter and voices matter. Our stories are valuable, and we have the power to make a difference in our communities and beyond.
We want to extend our deepest gratitude to our Launch Buddies Media Class participants who shared their personal stories today. Your bravery and your willingness to be real have touched our hearts and will undoubtedly inspire others. We also want to thank our sponsor, SDES, for their willingness to support our efforts and provide space for us to build our studio and connect every week. Please remember to check them out at sdesworks.com to discover their impactful tools to support functional academics.
And we want to express our appreciation to our listeners for joining us on this journey. Your support and engagement mean the world to us.
Remember, the Launch Buddies community is here for you. Let's continue to uplift one another, advocate for our disability rights, and work toward a more inclusive and empowered future for youth with disabilities.
Before we wrap up, we want to remind you to visit our website, mykeyplans.com. Follow us on social media and connect with the Launch Buddies community to access additional resources to support your journey and stay updated on future episodes.
Until next time, keep believing in yourself, embracing your journey, and remember that you have the power to create a future filled with possibilities.